All right, Shalom, Israel, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Shai, by Shem Rakakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai, double honors to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. My salutation to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect, soon to be elect, most I will. To the hopeful extended elect, Shalom, blessing, men, women, and children. Quick video. The Feminist Act, it says it isn't a single legislative bill, but a broad concept encompassing any action taken to challenge gender inequality and advance women's rights, including enacting specific laws like the Gender Equality Act, supporting movements like the Fight for the Equal Rights Amendment. And I just thought about that, like when Jake is in a lower state, he's in a weaker state, with poverty, having to depend upon the system. So he's like into position of well, he's doing a lot of, even in his slavery, even today, he's doing a lot of things that, you know, he wouldn't have to do as a king or a prince or someone with power, like working in a fast food place, male maids, uh, you know, going in half with his woman, splitting the bill, so to speak. Because if you in a position where you have to ask for equal rights, well, that's going to include, and especially when you're asking it from the government, that's going to include your woman equal to you. So, women are more quick to grasp a hold on uh, its economy as their main power source to move up. Um, it says, or advocating for policies such as those in the Women's Health Protection Act. It also includes grassroots activism, police advocacy. See, look, I said policy advocacy, and educational initiatives to end discrimination and promote equality for all genders. See, that word discrimination too. A lot of times, Jake is in a man. Jake is in a situation to where he's, being discriminated against. So then he has to cry out for equal rights. He has to cry out for some solution from another source, which often is the government, which even just what does it do? It confirms that he's in a lower position. you know, um, and that's why. Well, even in the scripture it says, there should be a new thing in the earth. A woman shall surpass a man. And that's a lot of times Jake get caught up in the net of, you know, being okay. Well, I'll split the bill. And but in her head, as far as whether it be rent, whether it be going out, and in her head it's like, damn. Eventually she gonna be like, yeah, I got another dude. He's paying for everything. He and I'm with this dude. And even though you can be her man and everything, you can be her husband, but she'll look at you like, in that sense, she'll look at you like I'm, my own husband or something. He's, we still paying half on the bills and shit. I'm getting tired of this shit. So, you know, Jake, this tells you in the scriptures that Yahweh is a strong tower. His name is like a strong tower. He that runs into it is safe. Yahweh is our power. We, but the government plays a role in trying to be that power, to which we end up in a hard place all the time. We end up running into a brick wall. we end up being more dependent. So, the feminist act is a concept, but it said, look, it said, but a broad concept encompassing any action taken to challenge gender inequality and advance women's rights. So, even going back, which it was another woman before Rosa Parks, but you know, if you want to, they use Rosa Parks as an example of courage, an example of a womanly courage, example of womanly strength, you know, and you know, you could sometimes be moved by your emotions or even have compassion about something, man or woman, and do a good deed or a deed that people would, think that was impossible. Um, but that shouldn't go over all to where, you know, now they just, now it's they're the forefront and the leadership of society and all that. Examples of feminist acts and legislation: the Equal Pay Act of 1963, a law prohibiting sex-based wage discrimination. So yeah, I mean, if you got a whole world that you know pays limit women less, a world law or whatever that pays women less, and you know, and let's say you coming from a broken home and a poverty, Jake, even with the man and the woman being in the house, they still poor. And you be like, they got all these benefits, and they can't discriminate against your wife anymore. Then she's gonna be able to make more money and probably more money than you, and probably get better benefits than you. And then she's gonna say, well, that's you'll find yours too. Uh, but this is a good opportunity, just like college and all that. You know, uh, education department system. You know, she's highly dependent upon that. Uh, Many go into being nurses. You know, uh, you know, doctor's assistants, whatever. Uh, Probation officers, welfare. Uh, what do you call it? I don't even know I don't know the term for it, but yeah, they get into these seats, and then you got the women saying, well, that's the black man hating on the black woman. We can't have shit. We can't rise or nothing. Well, I mean, all your platforms and all your power sources come from so-called white man, and well, you might say that about us in this economic world, but not spiritually. We depend on Yahweh Yahushai, and that upsets the so-called white man, and that even upsets the so-called black woman, because we don't need her like we thought we did. Because during the time, you know, and even without the wisdom and knowledge, wisdom of the Most High, we were going into these acts too. We were depending on these acts too. The Equal Pay Act, the title, what is that, 7 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This act prevented employment discrimination based on sex, religion, race, or national origin, although the inclusion of sex was initially an amendment intended to kill the bill. So even with that, that used to be, I guess, only, basically only for women, like, because they could be sexually harassed at the job. They could be, you know, they could be, a company refused to hire them because they're a woman, because they used to have that in the law. Like, yeah, you could, you can't read that now, but back then, like, yeah, you're a woman, or they'll even tell them verbally, like, was a woman, uh, 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 you know, applying for this job for? Get out of here. But now, through these civil rights acts and these certain movements, they have showed them to be accepted. And then you got our people growing up in poverty, our people growing up in sodomy and transgender. So you got to, you can't offend, they got rights too, because they claim that they want to be a woman, feel like a woman. So now you got and society has to accept them as like, it's just wild, man. It says title, I think that's 11. I'm not good with my Roman numerals, but of the Education Amendments of 1972, this law eliminated sex discrimination in federally funded education programs. And remember, we told you that it used to be illegal for a woman to dress provocatively. Uh, to they wore dresses, and that even goes back to the law and have their heads covered. So that's to let you know that another reason that you should know this place is declining, because there's harlotry everywhere and it's accepted. You know. Now things like prostitution is an old practice, and it was lawful. You know, and um, but it when it came to us and our laws is according to you still it was according to certain standards, according because we have to use wisdom. So we can't go out there buck wild. Now you got harlots that are gathering themselves on a corner on a block or whatever, and you know the cops arrest the man, the John, for being for it's something that is a they call it something, but instead of and knowing that these women gather together every day, they might sit on a bus stop and act like come on, people, they know what these women are doing, but do they arrest them? Sometimes they do, you know, but is it outlawed in America? Nah, it's something that could be controlled, you know, and it's something that could be prohibited in America, just like anything else. Gun carrying, drug selling, that could all be prohibited in America. But of course, they're the ones that set these standards up. They bring the drugs in. They set up prostitution. Uh, says the Equal Rights Amendment proposed to ensure equal legal rights for all citizens regardless of sex, though it has not been ratified as a constitutional amendment. So, where did they tie into it? Black and white. So, if you apply at this job and it says, well, we don't discriminate against religion and race and all that and sex, well, there go the woman being protected, and there go the man being protected too, also, because he's a black man. So he feels like, well, yeah, I got some I got some rights too, But come on, why do they still ask the question whether you black or white, or whether what race you are? That shouldn't even, if it didn't matter, it shouldn't be asked on the application, but it is because it's an agenda. It's a you know it's a psychological uh, wordplay, psychological subject matter that they play to make you feel like make you feel like you're getting somewhere, make you feel like you're not this subject, you're not excluded. So If all these platforms, these acts that tend to protect sex, gender, protect race, and all that, well, it's to weaken the families of the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American. Because the man is supposed to be the head. But what did she say? Well, hey, this is Women's Business Ownership Act of 1988 designed to support women in business. So I'm thought about getting into business. Well, it's like that Boomerang movie, Holly Berry and Robin Givens and all that. You know, Holly Berry played the more shy woman that was under Robin Givens in a lower position. Robin Givens kind of played the boss, and you know, so Eddie Murphy, he was kind of like a distinguished gentleman that worked there. He had money and everything, so he was going after Robin Givens to meet his, because she, but she was playing him. She was just sleeping around with him. He was trying to get serious with her. But she was like, yeah, come on, we just had sex. Like I'm a businesswoman. I don't fall in love. But Holly Berry was kind of like, she was like kind of the one that he ended up with, and we all watched that movie, so it's no spoiler. But that's the kind of women Jake Chase that want. They deal with the hood women because they're there. But everybody, and everybody want them a Holly Berry. But when you think about moving up in society, and you see like a businesswoman and she's about a business and she's pretty, you want her. Especially if she bring you to her house and all that, you be like, man, you know, I want to live like this. I want to come home with a big house and but she's looking at you like, yeah, yeah, she just wants you to fuck her good, you know. But on the other hand, and I know I'm talking a lot, but on the other hand, you got the women that lives in the hood and the ghettos. They're struggling to become those kind of women, and Jake kind of works with them and kind of get attached to them or make unity with them, lay down with them, have children, because he think he's doing his thing too. He's like to where y'all think y'all gonna have a house and all that, but by that time, what happens? They're divorced. The woman ends up, she's seeing other men because she got a business, or she's in college, so she's seeing other opportunities, other men that want her, that's doing better than her own man. And why do these things happen? Because it's a secret society designed to keep the target, the man of the Israelite man, and divide and conquer. And the women don't see it. Our women usually don't see it. Um, but let me get that scripture. It says a woman shall compass a man. So now they feeling the heat and feeling the pressure because everything's failing. This economy is falling. America is falling. So and everything is getting high, rent, bills, you know. And the so-called white man is not really. He don't really like. He'll get a pretty ass black woman. He want that black woman that got a dress on, that natural hair. He don't want no Cardi B type of females. He'll fuck them, but he don't want them as a wife. Every time you see an Edomite woman with her husband, Edomite man, she's pretty much in order, man. I mean, she she's nice, even though I don't know however they do at home when she's out in public, you don't hear nothing from her. She's not loud, you know. She's carrying her children. And she's taking care of business. Uh, I mean, just look at Eve. Just look at the Brad and all them, the Vivica. They tried with these Edomite men, and then where they go now, they when they get blackballed like Monique and all that, then they go back to wanting the black man. Just like Mariah Carey. Out of all her relationships, she's like, well, if everything fails, I just go back to being a nigga. Because they find out that when they uh, go to these rich ass places, they steal people and they sit at the table with these rich people, which are Edomites. The Edomites look to the left of them and being like, and look at them with like a disgust, like what is? Look at this nigga. No matter how famous you are, how much money you have, so they starting to realize that. Oprah got her nigga card pulled. She's like, I'm Oprah. They like, we don't give a damn who you are. We don't have, you don't care. Money don't answer things like it with black people like it does for them. It says, let's see, okay, Jeremiah 31:22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? Because Most High, daughter means Israel. We're considered as a young woman to the Most High. But our sins are old. But the Most High will renew us as the morning dew, like it said, and renew our youth. But Israel is, that 2/3 Israel is old and tired, old and tired, harlot, hoe, hag. Everybody's now Most High is waiting for his new woman, so to speak. The elect, which was from the beginning. Is anything that said it should be new? No, there's a thing that was of old, paraphrasing. For the Lord had created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. Yeah. So the woman is supposed to be in silence. She's supposed to learn from her husband, stay at home, help the children, tend to the children, tend to the younger women to teach them how to be women. But now she's busy body out there, you know, and laying down with all kind of men, having a whole phase and all that. So these Esau allowed her to do that, you know. So if you tell your woman you got a dispute with your woman, you got a problem with your woman because that's your wife, that's your possession, and then y'all have an argument, she can call the cops on you. She can exercise her feminist rights, so to speak, her rights as a woman, you know, against her own husband. I think this one woman said she got raped by her own husband. I was like, how is that part? How you gonna get away? How you gonna go to court and sue your own husband and say he raped you and you didn't lay down this? You didn't lay down with this man. This man had you all kind of ways. See, that's why it says a feminine act is a concept, a broad concept, and it's exercised. And it's exercised. You might as well call it a law or call it you know. But if the devil knows it's being exercised, why would he make it a law? He don't have to make it a law. It's already doing what it's supposed to do. It's already working in the earth, and that's what's happening with a lot of things. A lot of things are not written into law, but they're exercised, and you can see them. Uh, so you got women on these platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and they're stating that how they was abused by the Hebrew Israelites. They were, I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite, or it just might be against the black man. Well, black men, they always, uh, you know, they marrying white women and all that, so we don't f them, and I could do better by myself and all that, but a lot of them are singing a sad song. and being lonely and shit. That catches up with you, especially when you're old, like Vivica Fox calling out. When she was young and tooting her tail everywhere, you know, and she was more pretty before all them surgeries and all that. Every man wanted her. She was, I'm pretty sure, laying down with all kind of men. And now she's 60 years old and lonely. Now she's looking to get married and for a man, because it's gonna be like a woman. That's a shame. Even with David and Delilah, he said he won't give her no children into even into the day she died. She have no children. It was a reproach, because it was like some of them, a lot of women were barren back then, and they were asking the Lord to take their reproach away from them so they can have children. This is almost the same thing with marriage, because that's what constitutes marriage: laying down with a woman. Y'all join into one flesh. So now these women, when they get older, they look like they look foolish, and they get embarrassed by that because they like, damn, I'm old and I'm still not married. You know, well, I'm old and I still ain't got kids. I didn't have a man that was that saw me worthy enough to give me children, or like Cardi B. She had that line in WAP. She said, "I make a man's pull-out game weak." You know, because if you just letting it go, you know what I'm saying, you bust all in the woman. And she said, "Yeah, I got him." So they'll look for basketball players, and you know, let's. You think you could talk? A regular man can talk to any of these famous women, no matter how humble they seem. You know, sing a love song, saying and talking softly and saying, "Yeah, I just chill back. I'm not, into the spotlight." And you think, damn, she might be a decent woman. You think a regular man's gonna be able to get with her if she's a star? Nah. So you know these these uh these platforms have enabled them, you know, and these acts have enabled them to have power, and Esau knows that, and this divide and conquer method. Anyway, hope it's that fine. To the next video, shalom.